No! He's fast, he's faster, he's faster, he's faster, he's faster, he's faster. Go back.
Oh boy.
Fuck. Alright, let's jump right in. Centaur is probably one of the most strongest melee strength offlaners in Dota. He is usually picked to counter those heroes that like to harass him or hit him with their right click. Generally, he is a good lane dominator and fighting 1v1 against the enemy carry because of his retaliate as he returns his damage to the enemy. Alright, starting off with his item build, you should always go for these items. One Tango, one Soul, one Gauntlet of Strength, 2 Iron Branches and Ring of Protection. What Ring of Protection is gonna do for you is give you +2 armor, and you're gonna take way less damage when they try to harass you. Generally, it's gonna increase your survivability in lane, and you can easily harass the enemy core even by rushing the 2 creeps. And Gauntlet of Strength and 2 Iron Branches are gonna be solely for stats. After these items, you're gonna try to complete your bracers and get boost of speed. After that, you have to buy Ring of Health, which you are gonna transition into Vanguard, and that will increase your ability to tank the enemy heroes massively. Get him, boy! Get him! Nice! Rip. And normally overall, if you want to be aggressive under the tower, you should make sure that you're not hitting the enemy core under the tower range. So you don't aggro the tower and it starts hitting you, which is gonna be like total disaster for you and you're gonna die. You have to make sure that he goes away from the tower, then you right click him. And always use solve on yourself after putting your items in backpack, which are giving you stats, because it's gonna generally give you more healing. Also get a wand against those heroes that spam their skills. And usually after people make their Vanguard, they go for Blink, but it's generally not a good idea because if you have Blink and not survivability items, you're not gonna survive after you blink into enemies to stun. Dumbass! As you probably guessed it, next item on the list is Hood, which are gonna transition into Pipe later on in the late game. But before buying Pipe, you should go for Blink Dagger because it's gonna increase your mobility and it really works well with your first spell. But if enemy team has insane magic damage, you can always skip Blink and go for Pipe first. After you blink, you can make Crimson Guard if you are having hard time with your team fights, but you should make Heart of Thoras as soon as possible, because Heart of Thoras is such a good item that it will give you the ability to recover from fights and go back in again. Your last item is gonna be situational. If they have many roots, you can make Lotus Orb or BKB for yourself, but you can never go wrong with another heart. Yikes. Get out, boy. No BKB.
Is under attack.
Coming, 2 seconds, 2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Now coming to his skill build, you want to max retaliate whenever possible and get charges on it whenever you can. Try to fight the enemy team as early as possible so you can get charges on retaliate and contest the rune easily.
The battle.
This is how your skill build is gonna look like. Basically what it says is you have to max your retaliate whenever possible and only give one level to Hoof Stomp, the stun. Then you have to max your double edge and level up your ultimate whenever possible. Always remember to use your retaliate when the enemy team tries to go on you and just hit them back with it. Also make sure you have enough charges on your retaliate. The reason we want to give only one level to Hoof Stomp is because he is level 1, Hoof Stomp does 2 second stun, and level 2 Hoof Stomp does 2.25 second, and level 3 does 2.5 second, and level 4 does 2.75 second. In my opinion, it's not really worth it to level up his stun because it's not gonna do much, as 2 second stun is basically enough stun someone down and get enough damage on him. So 0.75 seconds stun is not gonna do much for your fights. You can see right here that even though he's Lark, he's unable to harass me with his essence shift because I have my retaliate and it always does more damage to him than it does to me. And the reason to max double edge is that we need some burst damage to just kill the enemy instantly. And just a reminder that his second skill, double edge, is a magical spell, so just be wary of that because you might things might end up happening like this, and which will make you look really stupid.
Radiant's middle tower is under
In the end, if the enemy carry has given up on trying to harass you, you can always trash talk him and tell him to hit you so you can get some retaliate charges for future team fights. Now at this point the enemy carry has already had it and at its breaking point you just have to do what you're doing so far. And it's probably he will just rage and maybe abandon the game or back again just start feeding. Now coming to Centaur's ultimate, his Stampede is an extremely good ability which is used to save his teammates from dying and just save them from a amount of death. Here is another example showing that his ultimate can be really useful. His ultimate Stampede is purely situational and it solely depends upon you how you use it, meaning that it can also be used offensively if your blink is on cooldown or you don't have a blink at all. You can always rely on your Stampede. For talents, I believe these are the best talents for him because on level 10 the movement speed is much better than the health regen. After that, the 40% double edge strength damage is way more impressive than this simple basic 25 base damage. You don't even have to ask why you have to choose retaliate damage because it's so much better than just my Sonic Stampede cooldown. Because if you die in a team fight, your Stampede is already going to be used, and after you respawn, your Stampede is going to be off cooldown. And for level 25, you're going to take Retaliate Aura if the enemy has too much right click damage, otherwise you can go for a +1 hoof storm duration. Centaur doesn't really have any counter, but he's vulnerable if he uses his Stampede and enemy uses their spell afterwards. For example, that I use Stampede here and Void uses Chrono. For using the same example, if I use my Stampede and Mars can use his Arena of Blood and I cannot get out, and I might not be able to get out after I use my Stampede and Tree uses his ultimate and root me down. Wide here, wide.
Death runs.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
No, 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 no!